Meh. Meh, meh, meh. What is liner? What is this thing I am telling myself to do? Beep. Beep. Mimi. Lines. The thing with these like scammer type, the ones where they like, go in real life and catch the scammers, you never know if it's a real. It could be 200% fake. No. It's a Telegram message notification. I know that. Couch. I'm so surprised. Oh my god. I don't like how making a layer pass through or making a group pass through make it so you can't see the thumbnails anymore. Good. I feel like it's important. Okay. But once again, line. Oh yeah, maybe I should learn how to paint a background. Please. But it's no use.
Delakinastaco says,
Help us.
get to work by a taco.
Get to work, buy a taco is what I heard. I'm trying. I even turned on the timer, okay? I'm trying to do like a time tracking of my shit now. I used to do that when I was very productive, and it was interesting. It's like, I'm getting in, I'm trying to be pro when I track my time and make
Livable
spreadsheets.
says, yo, I could go for some tacos. Delakinastaco says, get tracking, you're become productive.
Lord, gotta be productive everywhere. Don't need, like.
Delakinastaco says, I ain't got none for you, liha.
Alright, go watch that Drew Gooden video about making every recipe you see for a week. He got like multiple different taco related ones. Or a lot were just, like bread thing with ground meat. I mean, okay. To be fair, if he was lying on a pile of leaves, there should probably be trees everywhere. Meow meow meow. Okay. Also hi.
Corio says, also hi.
Yeah, it's just because I didn't load up YouTube. So y'all didn't show up. How you doing?
Bigart Batty says. Why it work for you?
Why it work for me? Because I loaded up YouTube, so now
Philokinestaco
it
says.
works.
So what's the plan, Miss Artist?
My
Bigart Batty says. Oh there yi.
try to make art. Should I try and like put
Philokinestaco says.
the trees?
No way.
Japan. I knew he was speaking Chinese. You can't tell me that was Japanese. I know things. Come on. Also, you're here as a student? What you do is probably illegal. There, look at my little forest of trees. This is how you draw a forest, right? I keep hearing
Bigart
this.
Batty says. I hit 100 subs. Laughing face.
Congratulations. Keep at it, go bigger. Have fun. Don't fall for any scams.
Philokinestaco says. The cooking stole my energy, but the grilled cheese was good. Ruby Azifer says.
Meow.
Hello.
I mean, cooking does steal energy. Hello, Ruby. So I gotta.
Batty says.
What do I have to do?
How does cooking steal your energy?
Okay, because you spend energy to make the food, to clean the
says,
dishes.
Would recommend caramelized onions grilled cheese. It's my favorite.
I'm tempted.
Ruby Azifer says. You very good at draw 3.
And you are very bad at typing.
I am sick, that's why sad.
Thank you. I mean, even when you're not sick, it steals. I think I'm gonna have to fucking get a reference. Damn, it's like I need a reference for this forest that I'm trying.
Bigart Batty says. Do you finally have your own VTuber model?
I don't. Of course that. It'll take a long, long while. Dun, dun. Dun, dun. It's gonna take a while. I gotta find me a reference for a forest.
Philokinestaco says. I still count this one as pretty close to you though. It's been you for so many years.
Yeah, but if it's cruel, I've been stealing this from the actual person that paid for it to have it made. Ay, ay.
Philokinestaco says. Okay, fair. But.
Alright. Okay. Got a reference. Well, my question is, can I even follow it? Would it even make sense?
Thelochinistako says. Many references.
I'm gonna need
Thelochinistako says.
many references.
You got this.
Here's the question: do I use them as references, or do I just fucking put them in the background and stop pretending to be an artist? Lord, I'm not good enough for this life.
Thelochinistako says. Hey. Thelochinistako says. I may start yelling at you. Thelochinistako says. Bitch.
This bitch doesn't want to learn to draw.
Just oilify it and blur it LMAO.
That was, yeah, but I was gonna make a few more. Cough, make.
Presvale Coruscant says. Hello K. Thelochinistako says.
Hello Presvale.
You already can draw, you are very good artist STFU.
I can only say I can draw when I can draw. When I can draw a full scene is when I'll think I can draw. When I can imagine something and draw it.
Presvale Coruscant says. I could see that you're almost at 200 subscribers.
Oh yeah, I'm like at 198. We're almost there.
Presvale Coruscant says. On YouTube.
Yay. Really interesting. Oh, I gotta make actual content if I wanna grow. But damn, who has time for that?
I don't give a fuck. You are artist.
Ding.
Livable says. Yes, when I can envision an image, and then translate it to the canvas, then I'll consider myself decent.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Oh wait, turn this one to a reference too. Wait, do they look exactly the same? Damn you, fucking AI.
Thelochinistako says. Isn't that the eternal dream of any artist? Livable says. Until that point, I suck.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that even much of a. Is it too much to ask? All I want.
Says. Disclaimer, this only applies to me, not to other people I support and admire.
I mean, I apply that to myself. I can't even like have a thought in my head and put it on paper. I have so many thoughts.
Livable says. No thoughts, head empty.
Then what would even the perspective be? Because he's laying on a... See, this is good. This is good. Let me just fill in the empty space. I can do that much, right?
Thelochinistako says. I mean it looks goose.
Good job. And like when I say like I need to be able to draw landscapes, I don't even have to draw it good, but it'd be good if I could, even like if it's painterly or sketchy, come up with something that doesn't look like a kindergartner drawing us. Because you know when I do landscapes, you know what I do? I draw the sun in the corner. I draw the blue sky. Like what do you expect from me? I'm a misery.
True. Thelochinistako says. Go watch some Bob Ross.
I'm gonna have to watch some Bob Ross. I don't have a chance in this cruel world. I need to rely on the teachings. I keep picking up my fountain pen, and at least I can tell it's not my stylus because it is immediately way heavier.
Lihavel says. Gotta see some happy little trees 3.
Okay. So then, what'd you say before the oilify it and blur it? Okay, and the danger of holding your stylus with your mouth is sometimes it just slips out while you're talking and then does a kamikaze bump. Pen nib first. Right onto the table.
Thelochinostako says. Pen missile.
Okay, which one is oilify?
Thelochinostako says. Damn ruining Pina. Thelochinostako says.
Pina.
Pens.
Pa.
Lihavel says. I don't know, I only oilify in GIMP.
God damn it. I'll find one. Dreamy watercolor. Well, that doesn't look like I could draw this either, but let's see. Let's see how this looks. 2.7 gigabytes of processing. Oh lord. La, 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 la. Why does it go back and forth like this? Look, see? This loading screen is problematic.
Says. That's a lot.
It just keeps going. It just keeps going!
Thelochinostako says. It's bouncing.
Lord. Help.
Thelochinostako says. Loading bar pong. Lihavel says. Oh shit, yeah, I never use any of Krita's filters, I should though.
Who knows if it'll break your computer. Okay, processing. 1 minute. This is the worst type of processing timer ever. It only counts up. It doesn't says, like give a
yo.
Yeah, you never mentioned what happened to it after you sent it back.
Says, I underclocked my PC and my games run so much better LMAO.
What does that mean? Tell it to just underperform? Oh, the loading screen is still bouncing. What did I do wrong?
Thelochinostako says. Underclocking can be a miracle. Lihavel says. Yeah, it tries too hard and burns up LOL.
Yeah, better to make it try, not enough. Makes sense. Why? Why are you doing this? Well, now it stopped loading. Is there even a difference?
Lihavel says. Also thanks for single-handedly showing me why I shouldn't use Krita filters.
Nah, it's fine. Well, but here's the thing. I can't tell what happened. It doesn't look like anything happened. I don't know if it canceled out on its own. No, but the thing is, it does say right in the. Why doesn't this work? I'm trying to open up. I'm trying to let you guys see. Okay, now you can see it. It does say filter is intensive and may take long.
Keep you anonymous, YouTube video.
See, that's one of the things that makes me feel like it's fake. Don't blur out its face. Don't do anything. Hey, you can look one. Ooh, this is interesting, but obviously this one would be a bit too strange. Okay, this one's interesting.
Thelokinistako says. So these are just some random dudes.
Yeah, they're like the financial predator hunters of YouTube. Okay, I mean, I think this is okay, right?
Thelokinistako says. The way they are talking feels borderline legal. Thelokinistako says. They are pushing some boundaries.
For sure. Like, I think if they put a disclaimer like this is for entertainment purposes, like if they told me, this is a reenactment to show how these scams work, I wouldn't, I'd understand.
Says. They're detectives, they're manipulating him to get more information from the ringleader and absolutely more charges LMAO.
No. This one is not a body cam. This one is not an actual body cam. This is like this is literally just two random dudes on YouTube. They're not agents. They're not officers. That's why it's so kind of suspicious. That's why I don't even know if it's real. Like I could pretty surely say that it's probably
Lihavel says.
fake.
Oh wow.
Okay, we're trying again.
Lihavel says. The plainclothes made me think detectives LMAO.
See, it's loading. It's doing the bouncing. Okay, now it's going 6%, 12%, 25%, 1%.
Thelokinistako says. If it is real, they are so close to some lawsuits.
Okay, I liked it.
Says.
I like it.
Pray to THR machine gods.
Wait, why do I still have to wait for it to load after pressing OK? I thought it just did it. What's happening? It did it. I like it. I'm using this on all the backgrounds from now on. Why do you have to load again?
Thelokinistako says. It's doing magic.
I don't want magic. I just want things to work. Does that require magic?
The Lokinestaco says. Don't question it.
Why is it at 0% again?
Lihavil says. I don't want magic, I want results.
The magician I hired, shrugging. I mean, I could get you results, but it requires magic.
The Lokinestaco says. LOL.
I think I killed it. I pressed X. I like it, whatever. It's fine. See? It's interesting. And then you see my little fucking...
The Lokinestaco says. Man, I kinda wanna paint, but my hands are shaky, I guess, from being sick.
Eras duro. You could do fountain pen. You could do draw me a box exercises. Like even, okay. You literally just said your hands are shaky, but
The Lokinestaco says. I could.
see now I want to like draw trees in this way. It's kind of an interesting. And then I could blur it a bit. I mean, I kind of like it. I don't mind it so far. But now I wonder if the perspective is too off. Almost 30. Those Chinese genes. The Chinese genes are like you either look, yeah, you look like a child, and then suddenly you look very old.
The Lokinestaco says. You looks young, until you don't, LOL.
It's a meme. It's like you look young, you look young, you look young, and then you're like suddenly grandpa.
The Lokinestaco says. No in between.
This is how it is. Okay. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Line art now? Or should I just like look at the sketch for another hour and contemplate my life? I don't know.
The Lokinestaco says. Line art, it's time e. The Lokinestaco says. Let's do it. Thelokinastaco says. I wanna see it.
Hmm. Man, how would the police feel about this?
Thelokinastaco says. They are acting like a mafia.
Mm, keep in
Thelokinastaco says.
touch.
They are pretty much scamming them back XD.
I feel like this arm is like a little too thin. So and like I said, I believe that this kind of thing happens. I just don't know if this specific situation is real. I mean, that's why it's like I want to believe it's real. Like, wow, they even use like popular apps that we know about these days. Keep that poor dude. If there really was a mafia, he'd be like hunted down.
Thelokinistako says. This feels like a early 2000s 2010s reality show.
Yeah. I think it's like not the worst quality, so that's why I just leave it on. It's not the most horrible thing.
Thelokinistako says. Nah, I'm not saying it's bad, just feels like it. Thelokinistako says. Feels like old reality TV.
Okay, well, there's our explanation, apparently.
Thelokinistako says. Masterful baiting. Thelokinistako says. I'm a child sometimes. Lihavul says. Stop smiling so much, goddamn.
Yeah, and I'm you trying to use sponsor block to try and report this little segment that's why I went backwards. Well, oops. Alright, whatever. Ew. Chewy Tic Tacs. Now where are they? There. And when I say bleh, I mean bleh.
Thelocinastaco says. Ew.
The part that it's what it is marketed as. It's crunchy on the outside and chewy on the inside. The outside
Thelocinastaco says.
is tasty.
That feels wrong.
The inside tastes like a medicine. Look at that. What did I do to deserve this?
Thelocinastaco says. Not good.
And I had just tried 3. What am I gonna do with the rest of the fucking package?
Thelocinastaco says. Give them to the worms XD.
That I don't know. So processed and I kill them. You know, the actual hard part of line art, like doing line art separately, is that
probably not the best for them XD.
You know, I like coloring my line art when I draw like sketchy shit like that. When I paint, quote unquote paint. But when I do line art, I feel like I gotta do it in black to know what the fuck I'm doing. Also, I'm trying a faster line art attempt. AKA, fuck, that doesn't look like line art at all. Because I'm using a sketchy pen.
Thelocinastaco says. Oops.
Like, I want to do it faster by doing it zoomed out like this. Kind of like if I was doing it on paper.
Thwitznauzer says. Is that my fave shark Rio?
No, I'm an imposter.
Thelocinastaco says. Murder the imposter.
Nah.
Thelocinastaco says. Oh, I found another picture of the puggle. I'm kinds tempted to change to that one.
If it's cute, do it.
So this a fake Rio gotcha.
Fake.
Thelocinastaco says. I'll send you it, you choose if it's cute or not.
I'm waiting. Friendly reminder that he. I do it. I think the hard part is that it's a very dark creature. Yeah, but do it.
Thelokinistako says. So that one is cuter then?
I mean, just try it. See if it looks good as an icon. Or should I? Let me. Well, I can choose something. Let me try something. See, this is not as cute.
Thelokinistako says. Okay, so here's this one.
Did you change it already? Maybe have to reload.
Thelokinistako says. Did it update?
There's something else. Alright, now it did. Yeah, it did on Twitch, and you'll have to send another message.
Thelokinistako says. Thelokinistako says. So which is cuter in your opinion?
I think this one is like just a little better. Fresh. Just because there's more white space and I don't know, it just kind of stands out a little more. I don't know. You can just switch between them both. Try to generate a picture of one, but they don't come
Stacko
out as
says,
good.
I do agree this one looks a little better as a PFP.
Look at this. I don't know what it's doing. Meow. Well, this one just came out fucking demonic. Yeah, I don't like anything it's making. I don't get it. It just started getting worse and worse and worse. Oh no, not confidence.
Thelochinostako says. The EP is hitting me.
I mean, good. It's good to be eating. And then go get some sleep.
Thelochinostako says. Feel like I got hit empty a truck.
It was the comfort of soup
Thelochinostako says.
and sandwich.
Nah, no way.
Trust the bodies, trust the soul.
Thelochinostako says. Not until stream done at the earliest.
Fine. I'm trying to make sure things make sense here.
Lihavil says. Can't eep, got a simp.
Don't call on my boy. Fine, go sleep. No simping for you. Banned.
Thelochinostako says. I don't think it counts as simping, bitch.
Hmm. Wow.
Lihavil says. Not gonna stop me from giving you shit 3. Thelochinostako says. Thought I was a plain fucker anyways. Thelochinostako says.
What the hell?
I mean that's fair, I guess I do deserve the shit. Thelochinostako says. What the hell what?
No, this case I'm listening to. Subtly wondering if this guy killed the dude. He was gay. I don't know. Was it trying to figure out the 3D-ness of this face?
Thelochinostako says. That'd not be good.
That would not be good. But I don't know, like I'm not like saying it's what happened, but I don't know, the way that he said it was quite curious.
Thalakanistako says. Lurk for just a minute.
Okay.
Thelochinostako says. Being sick is making me appreciate being able to be easily active.
Yeah, I can agree. I never appreciate being healthy and able to do things as much as I do when I am sick. Like, right now I'm appreciating being able to swallow without pain. Look, there you go, swallowing my tea. Nom nom nom. Ah.
Thelochinostako says. Just ran around taking care of trash, and while I feel better moving I'm outside fucking breath. Thelochinostako says. You and your team XD.
There's nothing more tragic than being unable to drink tea.
Thelochinostako says. T. Thelochinostako says. I don't know what I'm missing out I guess. Redstone Cat says. Aw that's so cute I love the floppy ear.
Need the floppy. He's some kind of fucking breed. All they got is floppy. It makes me understand that I don't know enough about floppy.
Floppy ear.
I'm gonna go on a tea tour. Just drink expensive teas. Appreciate the liquid.
Says. Dat dog doing flop. Redstone Cat says. Flop.
Look at this guy. He looks. I need to understand the mechanics of the flop. Probably not doing the flop justice, but what can I say?
Thelochinostako says. My burn got ripped open, very annoying.
Why'd you do that, dummy? Did I just cover up everything with the flop?
Thelochinostako says. It looked like it had healed bunch, but then it just peeled and I didn't even notice.
Why didn't you cover that shit up? It looks like the flop is sharper the edge.
Thelochinostako says. Yeah, I'll go find a band-aid in a bit.
Couldn't even go to Staples and like print out high quality versions. It's just Hmm.
Thelocanastaco says. Peppermint soap on a open wound is no good.
What'd you do it then? Do it.
Thelocanastaco says. Clean, I must clean.
Hmm. Picture looks like it was almost AI. It makes no
Thelocanastaco says.
sense.
I have been drugged. Thelocanastaco says. WDYM.
The the jaw doesn't make sense to me. It's confusing me. Look at this. Look at this. Dang. Dang. We're trying to figure out the mouth. This something here is confusing. This. I know his tongue is here. His jaw is here. Dog's just like fucked. Then this. See? I don't get what's happening right here. Right.
Thelocanastaco says. Maybe draw in where you think THR teeth are, those kinds force THR shape of THR face.
Hmm. It's just yeah. Drawing
Thelocanastaco
in
says.
real life
I keep typing thr, I'm gonna break my phone.
Hmm. Real life and pictures. They're just like, they're not one to one.
Thelokinistako says. It's true.
See, because I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't flesh out the sketch enough for my taste. The first line art is basically another sketch. Means I might just have to merge it with the sketch and try again on the line art.
Thelokinistako says. Is there any harm going back and doing my sketch?
Yours. And that's really typo.
Thelokinistako says. More. Thelokinistako says.
No.
I can't.
Not like it's a crime.
Thelokinistako says. Just shoot me.
Crime is illegal and I don't do crime.
Thelokinistako says. I thought you were the biggest criminal out there.
Ooh. That scared me.
Thelokinistako says. Running a mafia.
Ah. I wouldn't be so scared if it was.
Thelochinostako says. This guy doesn't seem like he's very good at murder.
Not very good at all. I wonder if he like killed this dude in like a fit of rage over something. I don't know. Something's weird. Can't be friends with nobody. I swear. Try to kill you for your debit card and then they use it to buy snacks at Dollar General.
Thelochinostako says. XD. Thelochinostako says. I'm sorry, but if I was gonna murder you, it'd be over something cool at least.
Okay, what would you murder me over?
Thelochinostako says. Like you're gonna tell the cops about my international drug empire.
Ooh. Alright, I guess if someone's gotta die for something. You can just like lock me up with like a restricted internet access though. Gotta kill me for it.
Thelochinostako says. Oh, you right, that'd be a better option. You're cool, I'll keep you around XD.
Wow. This probably will not make sense. But I want you to imagine you're suing somebody, right? And it's kind of in like lawsuit limbo.
Says, I'm imagining.
Right, you're suing someone and you're suing them pro se. So like there's no lawyers involved. On your side. You're doing it all by yourself. And it's managed to go on for like a few years because you just kind of keep going back and forth.
Says,
each person,
a great idea.
Look, you, because you're filing pro se and you're not spending money on a lawyer, you don't care about the costs. And because you're filing pro se, the court actually has an obligation to be more lenient on your bullshit filings. You don't have a lawyer, you're just doing it yourself. Mm. Maybe that's not the end of it. The ridiculous part is it gets transferred over to, let's say you and the defendant, you're the plaintiff, you're the one suing this person. The defendant is based in another state. And like a good chunk of time is spent in the courts trying to choose which state has like more jurisdiction over this case. And eventually gets transferred to the defendant's state. The defendant thinks it's great because their state actually has more protections over this certain case. But you think it's horrible because you want it in your state. So you make up a reason for the case to be transferred back to your state. You know what reason?
Thelochinostako says. Is it at least a lawsuit of a good thing?
No, it's because people are making fun of you online, and so you sued the website owner. because he let people make fun of you online.
Thelokinestaco says. Or just bullshit. Thelokinestaco says. Oh, I gotcha.
Alright, so you make up something.
Thelokinestaco says. I know what you're talking about.
Do you? Okay, then did you know that this dude has...
Thelokinestaco says.
You have a guess?
Or at least I have a guess.
Okay, well, let me try to explain this in my half-sleepy state and see if I can make sense. So this dude claims that he has a witness that is imperative to the case in the state of Utah. And but it is now, and the court transferred the case back to Utah from Florida because the plaintiff claimed that the witness is unable to do any testimony in Florida. Sorry, I'm gonna keep mixing everything up. That's his reasoning, and that's how it was transferred back to Utah, apparently. But turns out, this witness is fucking dead. And he's probably known to be dead.
Thelokinestaco says. Lovely. Thelokinestaco says. Oh, lol.
And instead of saying that the witness was dead, the plaintiff went, oh, me and the witness had a falling out, and he's no longer able to be a witness. So, like, these, like, I don't know, weeks of, you know, going back and forth in legal filings to get it transferred here, get it transferred there. Stall.
Thelokinestaco says. Ah, yes, a falling out.
That's like so funny. And that's like the way that it was worded
says,
here.
Falling out a fucking window.
It's really like falling out of being alive. So it's hilarious. Now here's the thing. I want to like adjust the sketch to match the new the new sketch, that I have a better idea of what I'm doing.
Thelokinestaco says. If I pass out before you're done with stream, apologies.
It's fine. Get comfy. You're ready to sleep.
Thelokinestaco says. Don't spend much time on it, remember you can always use that knowledge on the next SRT.
Yeah, but I gotta make it worth the money.
Thelokinestaco says. It already is. Thelokinestaco says. You aren't getting paid hundreds of dollars yet.
Yeah, but if I want to ever be paid hundreds of dollars, I gotta work hard.
Thelokinestaco says. You are right, but you gonna find a cut-off not spending too much on one thing.
Mm.
Thelokanastaco says. Lurk for just a minute, I may make my bed.
Mm.
Says. Your art very epics.
Meow. Your name is too epic. I don't even know what it is. Your name's too epic for the TTS. But thank you.
Says. It says Jaden sorry for font.
Mm. I don't mind. Just the TTS won't be able to read it out.
Thelokanastaco says. You got work tomorrow, right?
I do. Wow. Yeah, I am. I'm at the stage where my eyes won't even work. I gotta like squint with one eye open, try and do things.
Thelokinistako says. Go sleepy, you got some stuff done.
Yeah, I'm not in this.
Thelokinistako says. Go rest.
I can't. Even if I finish this, I gotta do more stuff before I can sleep.
Thwitznauzer says. Eep time yet. Thelokinistako says. Go do book stuff then.
They know everything these days. They know that the guy's phone was turned off at this guy's house. God damn.
Thelokinistako says. Phones are great tracking device. Thelokinistako says. If you have one on you, they can track pretty accurately in most places.
Yep.
Thelokinistako says. The magic of triangulation.
See, even the cop thinks that it is. I think the cop has the same kind of theory I do.
Thelochinostako says. It makes sense.
It's my tomato
Brett
sauce.
Purogen says. Finally was able to properly stream.
Good job. I can only hope you didn't use desktop audio. Even when you are in prison, you can't stop from asking for your favorite type of cigarette.
Retepurogen says. I use Streamlabs now, fuck OBS, OBS hates me.
Yeah, but now I hate you. I hate Streamlabs. Streamlabs OBS is literally, and I don't mean metaphorically or figuratively, literally just bloated OBS. It's OBS with too many features that'll make your computer slow down. It's for people that can't get OBS to work.
Thelokinistako says. OBS is the best. Retepurogen says. It's the only way I can properly stream.
Then don't stream at all. I slap you. Slap. It's because your soul is weak.
Thelokinistako says. XD.
The streaming gods look down upon you.
Retepurogen says. But I eat the rats and cockroaches in your walls.
Because it's all you're qualified to do. Because you use Streamlabs OBS. You use slobs. That's what you use.
Retepurogen says. Didn't you already finish this art piece?
Never done. Look at it. I still gotta line it, color it, shade it, but at least the background and the leaves are good to go, right? Oh, he started messing with me. I knew it.
Retepurogen says. Relearned inking on paper today during my cartooning class.
Show 'em all your boss and bring a fountain pen into it with fountain pen. I mean, I'd guess you probably used, I don't know, fine liners or maybe a dip pen.
Retepurogen says. No fountain pen.
Boo.
Retepurogen says. Using actual ballpoint pen tips and the pen handle.
Ew. Ballpoint? What the fuck is that? Do you mean ballpoint or? I will Google ballpoint just to see if anything comes up. Ballpoint pen.
Ballpoint.
What the actual? I'm not finding it. Ball pin. Okay. Okay. Speedball hunt 512. Extra fine ball dip pen nib. That's what I said. Okay. So it is an actual name for a nib type, but it's a dip pen. That's what I said. One costs $1.70 on jetpens.com.
Retepurogen says. Yet.
Oh, I'm dying.
Velocinastaco says.
Pen
Irish nails like chum. Or poke sticker.
I'm not a gnolf. I'm not a gnoblin. I'm a gnome.
Petition,
And you've
petition
been
for better sticker. Oh, better sticker options.
Velocinastaco says. Yomi.
Alright. Alright, I think this is the peak of my ability right here. Ah!
Bonk.
Hate it. Hate it. Why? I'm gonna commit hippo murder.
DSMN.
Don't make me eat this pygmy hippo, okay?
Retepurogen says. XD.
It was you?
Retepurogen says. I'll do more. Velocinastaco says. Chop of the hippos.
Dude.
Velocinastaco says. Wasn't me. Retepurogen says. Don't tempt me lol.
Ooh. I think I can line art this. I like this. It's pleasing to the eye. Oh my god, not this one.
Velocinastaco says. I agree, it does overall looks really good.
The other thing, I guess, I don't know, I could color adjust. Like the background, it might be better as another color after I put all the colors down for him. We'll just have to see how things go. It can be adjusted.
Retepurogen says. The background looks really good.
Don't worry, I did not make the background. I got it online. And then I did filters and editing on it.
I like it a lot.
Oh. This is an hour-long interrogation edited video. The confession cigarette request.
Botry official says. Thank you for redeeming Bonk Red Tepurogen.
Bonk. Yeah, it didn't actually fucking work. Let me go distract myself. Let me see if I can get Botrick Stork. Botrisk? Yeah, I'm so sleepy I cannot figure out how to spell Botrisk. Because I don't...
Red Tepurogen says. I'm only level 3.
Oh, it's Botrix. Yeah, only level 3. I mean, you gotta come way more.
Thelockinistacco says.
Not to judge you
Sad.
or anything. Let's see. Loyalty. Thor. Okay, that's added.
Red Tepurogen says. It's perfectly fine, I bounce between streamers a lot.
Meow. It bounce to your desire. Let me see if this works.
Red Tepurogen says. AM still gremlin though. Thelockinistacco says. Sounded a bit weird.
The sound of the bonk is strange. Gotta find the Botrick bonk.
You're walking in the woods. There's no one around and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot him. He's following you, about 30 feet back. He gets down on all fours and breaks into a sprint. He's gaining on you. You're looking for your car, but you're all turned around. He's almost upon you now, and you can see there's blood on his face. My God, there's blood everywhere.
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife. It's Shia LaBeouf. Lurking in the shadows. Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf. Living in the woods. Shia LaBeouf. Killing for sport. Shia LaBeouf. Eating all the bodies. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Do I have any points?
Now it's dark, and you seem to have lost him. But you're hopelessly lost yourself. Stranded with a murderer. You creep silently through the underbrush.
Thelockinistacco says.
Aha! In the
Haven't heard
distance,
Chia in a while.
a small cottage with a light on. Hope. You move stealthily toward it, but your leg, it's caught in a bear trap.
Gnawing off your leg. Living to the cottage.
Botry official says.
Now you're on the doorstep.
Thank you for redeeming Boncorio.
Sitting inside. Shia LaBeouf.
Alright, the sound is wrong, but you can tell us that.
You're sneaking up behind me.
I don't know, I feel like I've seen some shit about people like, really, like, getting in trouble.
Stabbing in his kidney. Safe at last from Shia LaBeouf.
You limp into the dark woods, blood oozing from your stump leg. You've beaten Shia LaBeouf.
Wait, he isn't dead.
Surprise, there's a gun to your head and death in his eyes, but you can do jujitsu. Body slam superstar Shia LaBeouf. Legendary fight with Shia LaBeouf. Trouble Tuesday night for Shia LaBeouf. You try to swing an axe at Shia LaBeouf, but blood is draining fast from your stump leg. He's dodging every swipe. He parries to the left. You counter to the right. You catch him in the neck. You're chopping off his head now. Just decapitated Shia LaBeouf.
His head topples to the floor, expressionless. You fall to your knees and catch your breath. You're finally safe from Shia LaBeouf.
My rolling should probably work.
Wait, he isn't dead. Shia surprise.
Retep Eurogen says. He Immortal 3. Batri official says. Thelockinistako is at level 30.
Okay, I found the bonk.
Thelockinistako says. Off topic, but 30 is a very good noise. Thelockinistako says. Number.
That is pretty off topic. Yes, sorry, please. Let's see if it works. I hate it.
Batri official says. Thank you for redeeming Bonk Choreo.
Where's the sound?
Thelockinistako
Where is
says.
it?
Cause half is 15, and 15 is cool cause it's 3, 5s. And 15 is just a cool number. Thelockinistako says. Plus 5 times 5.
Bonk.
Ah! No, I'm doing this wrong somehow.
Thelockinistako says. You have 2 bonks rem. Thelockinistako says. Remember.
No, but I'm not understanding how to get the sound properly. Legendary fight surprise. myinstance.com media the sound. How do I get to this link? Okay, maybe I remember. I gotta press download. Okay, that's how. Okay, I downloaded this one.
Country official says. Thank you for redeeming Bonk Choreo.
My bump works. Everything works in the world. Everything works. Mo. What are you doing to me? It's a shame that these don't stick. You know, yeah,
Red
someone could
Tepuro Jen
probably
says.
make a.
Pats.
Someone could probably.
Velocinastaco says. Everything works, you fix everything.
Just a little bit. No, but honestly, someone could probably make some kind of plugin to connect these stickers to VTube Studio. What am I looking at? Mm-hmm. 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 Man, it's a premium thing to be able to do TTS using Botrix. You want to make it cost points. That's dumb. Alright, anyway.
Velocinastaco says. Aw, that's sad.
Not that important. Mom.
Whoa, no touchy. No touchy. No touch.
Why are you touching me? Also, where's my stylus? When I don't use it, I put it down, I put it in my pocket, put it on the floor, apparently.
Velocinastaco says. I stole it.
Back in meaning. Call the police on you.
Red Tepuro Jen says. Man, I'm bored. See ya next time.
See, I mean, you can bounce between people, but just leave if you want to leave if you're bored. I know I'm not very fun. I don't plan on changing anything. Just go. Bye bye. I ain't getting more interesting.
Velocinastaco says. I'm happy to be here though.
I appreciate you, Taco. Yeah, how does that work? How could DeepSeek have stolen a OpenAI's shit?
Red Tepuro Jen says. Have a happy stream, ya silly bean.
Meow. It's gonna be very happy and violent.
Velocinastaco says. Though TBH, especially off stream, you are weirdly interesting person.
That's the end goal, okay? You gotta be drawn in by the stream, and then you gotta find me off stream, and then I'll really catch you with my interestingness. And what does that even mean? What do you mean? Does that mean you also agree that I'm boring on stream? Explain your words, you taco.
Thelocanastaco says. No. Thelocanastaco says. But like the more I get to know you, the more interesting and confusing you get. Batri official says. Thelocanastaco, you leveled up to level 31.
How are you so fucking high leveled, you monster? Okay. And how am I
Thelocanastaco
confusing?
says. You're an onion, you got layers.
You. Hopefully I'm better than in the movie The Onion.
Thelocanastaco says. I don't know, you're just interesting person. Thelocanastaco says. And confusing, but I think that's a me thing.
Alright, the Dynart rules I'm gonna try and follow here. And I'm giving myself like 30 minutes or less. Do as much as I can. The closer it is to the camera, the bigger the lines. And then I guess the more heavy something is. The hard part, like what part is thicker, what part is thinner. I just gotta figure it out somehow.
Thelocanastaco says. Those rules make sense.
I mean, if you don't know, then just make it thin and come back and fix it later. See, look, as always, competition is only a good thing. Competition makes things cheaper for everybody else.
Thelocanastaco says. Competition is the greatest thing ever.
Okay, like my romance novels, like all the new Chinese web novels, are probably gonna use this guy as like a a reference point for their like entrepreneur CEOs. It's like the CEOs are always fucking, you know,
The Lokinestaco
CEOs
says.
of technology
LOL.
companies or some shit. Like, how do they make all their money? They have to have some secret.
The Lokinestaco says. I just dropped you on my face, I dozed a bit and dropped my fiend.
Dang. Well, look, this is not consensual for either of us. It's best we just move on.
The Lokinestaco says. Broke my nose.
Oh dear. You cannot sue me for domestic violence.
The Lokinestaco says. Gonna sue you.
No! By watching my stream, you sign a little secret disclaimer, a waiver, that any physical harm that may come to you in the process of watching is totally not my fault.
The Lokinestaco says. Domestic violence, I am a victim of battery.
Battery. Wait, but just to be fair, Google Gemini does have its own thinking model, and I've used it. The annoying glitch sometimes, though, is sometimes it'll output the quote unquote thinking into the final product. Then, like, when I'm copying and pasting chapters, it's kind of annoying, but I mean, small thing in the grand scheme of life. But it doesn't always give the best
The
results. I don't know.
Lokinestaco says. I need to understand AI models more, they are getting interesting.
Interesting, but at the basic, it's still just an overpowered phone. I mean, now maybe they're getting a little non autocorrecty or predictive typing. Maybe now they're moving away from being just like predictive typing machines, but that's where they started. Yeah, I'm waiting for the API access to get back, cause right now you can only use it on like the normal user way, and I can't translate my shit that way. I need the API access, baby. I want to put in my whole chapters and get shit done.
The Lockinestaco says. Hopefully soon.
If people stop trying to hack into DeepSeek so I can use it to translate my Chinese web novels, please. Wait, finally the best use case. He's using an AI to call the scammers.
The Lockinestaco says. I love it. The Lockinestaco says. On that topic, I still can't get scammers to speak to me.
Good.
The Lockinestaco says. I still get maybe 2 calls a month. The Lockinestaco says. But they never say a word.
Like I said. Good.
The Lockinestaco says. Don't talk more lol. The
You know, I do this
Lockinestaco
a
says. I love how rude these Akamers are.
I got the sense of entitlement. And like they I don't know, a lot of it's purposeful. Just you. But you know, I do this at work. Whenever I don't really understand what someone's saying, but I don't want to agree or disagree. Like when people just because it's a really loud environment, so people like pass by and like mumble hello, like or I'll just assume they're mumbling hello or something, and I'll just go yeah. And what's weird is like some guys, I don't know, maybe are trying to actually strike up a conversation, and they'll go, huh? What'd you just say to me? And I go, yeah. And I will not go, and I won't elaborate. And if they keep trying, I'll go, I have earbuds in, I
The
can't hear you.
Lockinestaco says. LOL.
Like, I don't know, it's like no one actually tries to strike up a conversation with me. So when I get these guys that like are actually trying, I get very suspicious. And that's when I pull out the weird
Lockinestaco
stops.
says. Poor people trying to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to them.
The Lockinestaco says. Fair enough. The Lockinestaco says. Does that mean I am better than random people at your work xdigrt blessed by your words unlike the peasants?
I mean, clearly. Oh, look at me go. It's just because at work, it is not a good idea to try and make connect like lasting friendships. It only brings problems. People come, people go. You don't want to feel bad. It's like death or something.
Velocinistaco says. That's fair. Velocinistaco says. I'm just eternal.
Yeah, well, you better be. Get your shit. Get better so you can go back to studying so you can do your shit.
Velocinistaco says. FR. Velocinistaco says. Also sorry if I say anything weird, I am a tad but lupa.
It's fine. Go to bed. Go to, you're already in bed. You're already comfy. Sleep. Time to sleep.
Velocinistaco says. No.
I love his Valley Girl voice. Hi, is this PayPal? This is
Velocinistaco says.
Kelly.
I am just resting and chilling here with you. I will sleep Ulster.
Okay, you know the Valley voice that you never think is real? Like,
Velocinistaco
oh my
says.
god.
It's painful, but funny.
Okay. I'm like turning this down because I was listening to a body cam and I heard it. I heard the Valley voice, and it was some girls calling 911 about their missing friend who was kidnapped and murdered. And it was an actual Valley Girl voice, and they were not faking it. Like, the last time we saw her
Velocinistaco says.
was outside the bar,
Don't worry,
and
I've
she
met
got
people
an
with Valley Girl
Uber.
accents.
And then she didn't call us again. She said she's gonna get an Uber to go home. And then she's fucking dead. Yeah, she's fucking dead, bitch. Yep.
Velocinistaco says. Everything is a question.
It's a question.
Velocinistaco says. I watched a linguistic video about it. Velocinistaco says. Was cool.
Did they explain why? Is that gay?
Velocinistaco says. I'll have to see if I can find it. Velocinistaco says. Been a long time.
Me. Nah. Fucking Edward.
Velocinistaco says. What?
He
Velocinistaco
like
says.
elephant.
Edward who?
Edward Elric. You uncultured swine.
Thelokinostako says. Stream can't hear stream.
Mm.
Thelokinostako says. Can't hear video.
Ah. You complain about my interrupting? Now you'll know what real interrupting is like.
Thelokinostako says. I think I found the video I it to you.
Okay. But I'm not talking about vocal fry. Vocal fry is vocal fries. Oh, you wanna get some pizza? What do you wanna do? That's the vocal fry, you know.
Thelokinostako says. I think he talks about the Valley Girl voice in it, or maybe
Okay.
it was another video by him.
Okay. I'll admit to having a bit of Valley voice. But if I don't want Valley voice, I have to
says.
talk like this.
Probably another video by him.
I guess the falsetto. I have a smooth voice. I gotta, it has to be a very conscious thing. But I can try. I have to be way more breathy in my speaking.
Thelokinostako says. Just speak like Ria.
But who is Ryu? How does Ryu speak?
Thelokinostako says. I don't know who she is, I forgot you really name.
Whoa.
Thelokinostako says. You said it once, and I forgot, and it's driving me nuts, I can't remember it.
We forget a lot of things I've said. Tisk tisk tisk. Where's your D&D notebook full of real lore?
Thelokinostako says. It's like I know it. Thelokinostako says. But I just can't.
I'll blame your sickness.
Thelokinostako says. I remember too many things I don't need to remember.
Imagine if this was real. You go on your command line and you connect to the refund server. Oh, we gotta start it all over.
Thelokinistako says. Okay, what's the first two letters of your name? I gotta remember it. DM it to me or something.
Mm.
Thelokinistako says. It's on the tip of my tongue. Thelokinistako says. Fuck. Thelokinistako says. Am I right?
Yeah, very close. But you just gotta remember I'm Brazilian. It's the Brazilian spelling. And also my pee fell off again. My fucking P key fell off. The base and the key, like the keycap. I can't, like, I don't get why. I don't see any visual damage. It's like the keyboard itself just fucked.
Thelokinistako says. Your pee fell off.
My pee fell off. What I get for going to the cheapest doctor called AliExpress.
Thelokinistako says. First what, second you have a peep? Thelokinistako says. That's a lot of question.
My pee fell off. Ah! Like it works. I can type P, but the keycap is just fucking falling off. Technically, oh my god. Technically, we got like 1, 2, 3, 4 layers here. Oh my god. Of fur colors.
Thelochinostako says. Is that a LTO?
LTO?
Thelochinostako says. A lot.
Just imagine me trying to draw this, okay? Okay, see, now the computer's making her say that. Look, I tried to click cancel. It's not working, so that means that the only option.
Thelochinostako says. No balls.
The balls.
Thelochinostako says. A lost peepee and no balls.
Well, then I guess I'm just sad fat orange.
Thelochinostacco says. You didn't know balls, scammed no balls. Thelochinostacco says. But why orange?
Fat orange.
Thelochinostacco says. When did you turn orange?
That's a term for a cat. Like Garfield.
Thelochinostacco says. Oh, you mean cat? Thelochinostacco says. You definitely are a cat.
Nice.
Thelochinostacco says. I thought you meant like a Trump orange.
I would assumed an Almanzo orange. I'm the finance. I'm the whatever. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Thelochinostacco says. I love this.
Put in the notepad. Oh, now the threats. Imagine if Kit Boga got exposed as like having faked all this. It'd be tragic. I wanna believe it's all real.
Thelakinistako says. Don't stay up too late, you got work.
And you're right.
Thelakinistako says. It would be our truly tragic. Thelakinistako says. Tragic.
Now you're bringing God into this. Oh, she's a really, really bad bitch.
Thelakinistako says. Damn rape threats.
So weird. They're like, this is why it feels fake. They keep coming back. Just keeps fucking redeeming it. I mean, oh, but
Thelakinistako says. I mean, this guy is good at just hooking them though. Thelakinistako says. With lots of money.
disc. It's a shame that the AI didn't work better. I mean, I would just run call centers of AI voices. Same with these guys. Why you kill your boyfriend on his mail route?
The Lochinestaco says. Damn.
In the face? Okay, look, I'm not the best at telling, when someone's being weird,
Grilled cheese
but...
says. Do you mind if I beat it to you?
Ew.
Saki77 says. Que silencio.
Mucho keto.
Saki77 says. Oh, she is here.
Meow.
The Lochinestaco says. Damn, that's just a stupid thing to say.
Meow.
The Lochinestaco says.
Yeah.
Of all things to come into a stream to say, even as a troll.
It is. But no, what I was gonna say, I'll tell the story behind why I put my name and my dad in the same sentence. Anyway. Ugh. We got the moves. It's so fucking chubby. Lord.
The Lochinestaco says. Wait, what?
Don't ask me to make sense.
The Lochinestaco says. Explain.
Hmm. Hmm.
The Lochinestaco says. Something about sentence and dad.
Yes.
The Lochinestaco says. Explain. The Lochinestaco says. Don't make me feel more dumb XD.
Some other day. feel like this is all stalling tactic. Like the longer she keeps it focused on her kid, the less that she has to like talk about anything else.
The Lokinistako says. I think you're right.
You can't even take an Uber. I mean, not that that would help in the grand scheme of things. They'd find out eventually, but and I got caught on a door camera. Imagine the police come to your door and you're like, yeah, do you mind checking your nest or your ring? There was a murder across the street. You know how it is.
The Lokinistako says. Door cameras, don't let anyone get away with crimes anymore.
Yeah, but just remember, they won't let you get away with your crimes either. But if you don't care, mm.
The Lokinistako says. I won't commit crimes. The Lokinistako says. At least most crimes.
I'm gonna stick to no crimes. Well, I'm gonna stick to no crimes that the IRS is interested in. A lot of other crimes, you know, well.
The Lokinistako says. Of course.
Okay.
The Lokinistako says. Don't bet against the house. The Lokinistako says. Don't fight the IRS.
Never. Like, I don't even make enough to be worried about this shit. It's just I'm such a nervous mess.
The Lokinistako says. It's understandable to be nervous, but you are capable, so even if Sursma happens you would handle it well.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to remember. And like, I'll just reiterate my brainwashing. You can't control what happens in the world, but you can control how you react to it. And almost everything that happens in the world, there's a guide out there on how to deal with it. Right?
The Lokinistako says. There is a line from a movie. The Lokinistako says. There are more potential games of chess than there are atoms in the universe.
Sounds like an Inception quote.
The Lokinistako says. So there is also an infinite amount of ways to fix a mistake of a move. The Lokinistako says.
She's also.
Something like that.
I'm confused. I thought he was the one that was a post office worker. They're both post office workers? What a mess.
The Lokinistako says. Everyone is a postal worker. The Lokinistako says. I don't think you do. The Lokinistako says. Damn.
She hasn't even seen him, but she knows he's traumatized.
The Lokinistako says. I am attempting to chat, but my EPA typing is too atrocious.
Just sleep. Just sleep. I'm like almost done with what I plan to do tonight.
Thelokinostako
Alright.
says. Plus hands still are a bit unstable, shaky something.
Alright, I'm done for the night. There's just one final thing to do, but you can't guess what it is.
Thelokinostako says. You gonna do book?
Yeah, oh my god, it's only one, just like a really few chapters.
Thelokinostako says. Cover it in your name, everyone must know. Thelochinistako says. I say again, I love your line art.
This one is like definitely sketchy still. Look at it. Look at this shit. But it's getting somewhere. Like I've noticed, look at this paw just needs to be oriented a little differently if it's gonna be laying on the tummy.
Thelochinistako says. Sure, but it still looks good. Thelochinistako says. Yeah, it agree.
What? It's like the postal inspector not have to give her a lawyer? There's like some kind of loophole. Like, what the fuck is happening here?
The Locanestaco says. No, I'm not sure why they are letting him talk to her. The Locanestaco says. Maybe since he's a different entity she has to say she wants one to him too.
Like I never want to throw shade, but this guy's being so like I mean, you should have just asked for a lawyer at the
The
beginning.
Locanestaco says. I don't know, the law with right for attorney is weird.
It's weird. Shit's weird, but she should have asked one from the get-go.
The Locanestaco says. Don't answer questions, get a lawyer.
Don't say it. Oh no, now you gave him another motive. Can they put some oil on these doors?
The Locanestaco says. The SQUEK is for the ambience.
I don't like the ambience anymore. Please stop it. Oh no. Mm. Okay, I gotta stop dreaming. I gotta try like 15 minutes. Do some shit. Book shit. Alright, good night. Ah. How's this 1.3 gigabytes? This file is killing me. How is it so big? I didn't even do shit.
The Lokinestaco says. Wait, you going to be? The Lokinestaco says. Big file.
It's only 131
The
megabytes,
Lokinestaco
but I guess
says.
in total when it's
Bed.
being drawn. Lord, it's too big. Alright, good night. You got 30 seconds to say goodnight
The
back.
Lokinestaco
Okay,
says.
good night.
Good night.